Happy Father's Day, first of all. Big up to all of the fathers out there doing them father thing. Understand the fathers, the grandfathers, the uncles who filling in as fathers, the big brothers who are being fathers. Big up. And I know it's not always said, but you're appreciated for the job that you do. My name is Marlon Campbell. I have one child that I hear is mine. And so far, he kind of look like his mother. So, you know, I'm just take our word for it and everything. His name is Judah. He's 4 years old. And I guess I can say it's probably the best thing that has ever happened to me, really. And just looking forward to sharing what this journey has meant to me. And you're going to hear from some other great fathers. And yeah, I'm putting myself in the great father list too. So hand over to the good Reverend.
Hi, I'm Pastor Dwight, and happy Father's Day. It's a great opportunity for me just to share my journey in fatherhood, and it has been a great journey. You know, it has its ups and downs, and it will just be good to share with these guys about fathers.
Happy Father's Day, everybody. My name is Dr. Phillip Coombs. I'm a medical doctor at KPH. I'm a surgical resident. I have one child. She's a wonderful, bouncing, lovely girl. She's 2.5, and I'm married. Being a father is very important. I think it's sometimes underestimated. It has its ups and downs, and we want to get into the conversations about fatherhood.
Yeah, but hold on. Since you already started about, you know, you say it's very important, but 2.5 years ago, your life changed, right?
Definitely.
What has fatherhood meant to you? I feel like if I ask everybody them questions,
Right. So first and foremost, I can just say this off the bat. You might not necessarily understand the love that you experience when you have a child.
Yeah.
It's a new type of love that it's hard to explain until you actually become a father.
Amen.
Point blank.
Amen.
So with that said, I think, you know, it's definitely a life-changing experience. You know, your priorities change, and you have to put yourself not first, but your family first. Mm-hmm. And that is not always mentally easy and accepted by many persons who have children.
But we're going to probably argue about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can probably touch back at that, because in talking about putting your family first, right? It's Men's Health Month. And I think that's part of the issue that we might have, where sometimes as fathers, putting your family first might not be necessarily the right thing. It sounds right, but perhaps what as fathers we might need to do is start put ourselves first, to make sure that ourselves are in our best selves so that we can be good for our families.
You're like on the airplane, and I say, put your mask on first.
Yes.
Right? So that you can. Yeah. So as fathers, all right, so the family is important. Mm-hmm. And we have to make sure that the family is looked after. Mm-hmm. But to make sure that I'm my best, I have to be my best. Yeah. I have to understand my own identity. Mm-hmm. And then out of who I am, I offer my love and my affection to my family.
And but speaking about who you are, by the way, how many children you have, Pastor?
I have 3.
I have 3. Good going. We still not catch up the man yet, you know. Yeah. Senior father. We have time. We have time.
One. All of my children are adults. So.
Oh, them something there. Yeah. Your granddad yet?
No.
Not yet. All right. But in terms of, but you raised something important when you said understand who you are. Okay, you know the funny thing is, most times when they stop you, or if somebody stop you and ask you, who are you? You reply with your profession. Yeah. You know, I'm Dr. Coombs. I'm Pastor Dwight. And, you know, I'll be like, yo, Marlon Musique or so. And I think it's very important that you know who you are as a person, like really who you are, not what you are, not your job, not so forth, in order to be an effective father. Because I feel like if some people didn't know who them be, they would have refrain from being a father just yet.
Very true.
You know, you have to be at that place, I believe, as a man. And mark you, there's some horrid growing up that happens. I've seen it with friends of mine. Like, pick me on Tuesday and it's a whole different person you meet on Wednesday, like something kicking. You know, they love talk about maternal instinct. There's a paternal instinct that I don't think a lot of us get credit for in terms of what it is. But I raised that to say that a lot of times as fathers, we pigeonhole ourselves into the role of provider, protector. And we are not seen often as nurturers as such.
Inspiration, nurture,
leaders,
etc. Leaders. You know, one of the challenges we have in that division of nurture is that men and women nurture in different ways.
Yeah.
And one of the problems over the years, I was reading it the other day, they did a study on what parenting is like, but the role model that they used was a woman. So when they were now saying that what the father should be like, they are casting the father in a female role, which just out the gate.
It's different.
It's a problem.
It's very different.
You know, your child is running, the father is the motivator, the child falls, and them say anything broken, get up, run on. Right? The mother is leaving from the kitchen to run out and meet him. It's two different kinds of nurturing, but both are complementary.
Yes.
One is helping the child to overcome the difficulties, and the other one is showing them the nurture.
Yeah.
So both of us create a balance.
Yeah.
But I am not a hero female.
Yeah. And that's it. You see, you know, I'm part of this podcast with a few friends of mine. They're all fathers. And that podcast started out of the fact that one of our friends, Otis has his oldest daughter is 13, 14 now. We're 14 now. God's oldest child, she's a daughter, she's 13. But then all of us, the rest of us, actually started having our kids came out later. What happened was when, for me and for my Regent Dennis, when we were told, hey, there's a child coming, we were trying to find information for fathers, as you know, and everything on parenting was mother-centric. And we're like, hold on, then if we can't find info, can you imagine the amount of persons out there who can't find info on what being a father or him should be like? So we started that for trying and say, hey, at least from the men's perspective. And I think that is a big part of what we might have in terms of why there's this narrative about a lot of Jamaican men not, like a lot of us not being fathers, because you're looking for a certain role that really should not be the role that we are playing. It should not. Yes, I'm going to hush my child sometimes when him drop, but most time I go up, I laugh with him and say, hey, come on, you. You know, and as you said, you so rightly pointed out, it's two different types.
It's two different roles, two different approaches.
And I don't think...
Naturally.
And I don't think each parent should be asked to play the other's role. But
mind you, we still have to accept and acknowledge that there is a problem that we do have in terms of just the responsibility as men to be fathers. And I think we still need to pay attention and try to encourage men overall
definitely
to have that responsibility and be able to still be fathers to their children.
Right.
Because not all of them, even though we have different roles, I still do think that, you know, that's still lacking in some regard in terms of even just the role that we play as fathers, even though it's different from mothers, you know?
But I think the biggest, because for me, I think the thing about the Jamaican fathers being absentee, I think it's a narrative that it might have been true at one point. And even then, I'd probably need to do some more research to see how true it is, whether or not it was a loud minority that actually give a bad name to the whole bunch. But I think the reality of it, at least in the last 2 generations, has shifted a lot. You know, the image of the Jamaican man, in terms of what is being said and the reality I see, is different, because unless me just fortunate for dropping a very good circle. But in terms of my immediate circle, there's not one worthless father in it. And me have to really expand the circle. I want you to, kind of side-eye him still. But, you know, kind of side-eye him. But at the same time,
that's good company.
The truth is that we are improving.
We are vastly, I'd say.
I agree with you. But the truth is that if you think about the fact that about 68% of the families out there are single women families, then other thing,
glad you said that.
Yeah, are single women families. And in some cases, the man is not around, then we do have a challenge to overcome, right?
The question what I'm going to raise is this. Being a single woman
Right.
does not make you a single mother. And it irks me to my very soul.
Okay.
Times that I've seen it. I have one brethren where this man is so active in his children's lives. And that woman constantly, if you follow her Instagram, you swear, say, she's a single mother.
He's
And
not
I'm
around.
Like, exactly.
Yeah, like he's not around.
Not around.
Yes.
And it's the man that everyone at the picnic school fee them pay, no question. He even pays bills in her house to make sure that his children are okay. They spend a lot of time with him. I'm not talking one weekend per month. But if you follow the narrative being put out, she's a single mom. And there are lots of single women who grab on to the single mother title when you are not. You not living in the same house and you not being with the father of your children don't mean say you is a single mother. Not if the man is actively participating. And I think, I'm trying to remember if his Father's Inc. That was years ago, this was, actually. I think I do believe it was Herbert I was speaking to that said that at least about 80% of Jamaican children have access to their fathers. In some way or another, father might not live there, might not live in the household, but they have access. And even on top of it, what mothers and sometimes children rank as being a good father comes down to material. So what you'll have is, you'll have one father who, he might live up the road, but every morning him down there, pick up him kids, bring them to school, provide as best as he can. He might all catch him all a plot him daughter here or whatever. And he would get a lesser ranking from mothers and children versus a father who is overseas, very absent, but every month money come in, every month barrels send, and they're provided for. That father who actually might not provide as much monetarily will get a lower ranking. And I think that is part of the thing that we need for talk the truth about it. One, some persons love to grab onto the martyrdom of single motherness or don't give credit to the practical ways in which a father is active in the child's lives. And at the same time, the impact of an absent father is often mitigated by a very present grandfather or a present uncle. I know one case of one person who literally said, him don't like how him brother move because him brother not do him responsibility, and the man slid right into the role of making sure that this father figure, strong male figure, is in his nephew's life. And I've seen so I think we need to get down into the nitty-gritty of it. But you know what? I don't think we're here to defend it so much, but I think we're more to talk about what it is for us. And I mean, I guess how we can be better fathers.
Fathering changed my life, though.
Talk to me about that.
No, man. When I thought I was prepared.
Can you really?
No, man. I mean, we got pregnant. We
notice the man say we got pregnant.
Yeah, man. It's we got pregnant.
Big up, man.
It's we got pregnant because I'm with her, and then this baby is born, and life just never changed. Just never is the same after that. After that first moment, you die for this child.
Yeah.
You would give everything for the child, and the, as you expressed earlier on, the love that you have naturally without having. Well, I mean, we were bonding when the child was in the womb, but it's crazy. It's a whole different world.
Yeah.
It's a whole different world.
Nobody can like on my phone screen right now is as I pick the card of when my son was born, and I had him at the hospital right there, and I don't think I can replicate that moment for me and how it felt. I was like, whoa. And I think a lot of us though, we really that bond is really when we hold the child first generally. Sometimes we can't. I think mothers probably fall in love.
When I
mothers,
saw my daughter,
mothers, mothers, that was it. And look, yo,
when
I did that. Like I was a father.
Yeah, when I saw her, I was like, oh, this is life changing.
Yeah.
Yes, man.
Yeah,
Yes,
instantly.
man.
Trust me. I feel like I said, I've seen people become very focused when children come.
Right. So that is also something that happened to me because when my wife got pregnant, when we got pregnant, I was doing some exams.
Okay.
So I had to be in my books throughout the pregnancy. And even when my daughter was born, I remember I had exams about 3 or 4 weeks after that. And so it was a challenging time, but the motivation came out,
Yes, man.
you know, even
Yeah.
after the exams and just going through work and just, thinking about just the future,
Yes.
having that responsibility and that love, that really drove me in another direction, in a direction that I wanted to go. And that passion came out just from my child. So that was something very positive of just being a father.
Yeah.
That really encouraged me.
And then now you're realizing that as dad, they follow your example.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So all the statistics.
I think
indicate,
I'm the
they follow
youngest
your
father
example.
here
Yeah,
out of the three of us. So I mean, I still have quite a
No,
bit of
I
way
might
to go.
just look a little old for me.
It's a young boy, man. Yeah. A young youth.
Young youth, man.
Young youth. Man, he's not even a grandfather yet. Young.
I can definitely see where my daughter follows me just with little
Trust
things,
me. Trust
just
me.
with little things. So I'm getting used to that.
Right. In our world, it says that if the father is a Christian, the children are 75% likely to become a Christian. If the mother alone is a Christian, they are 15% likely to become a Christian. So understand the difference in the influence
Of fathers. And I mean,
you understand?
I think fathers influence the child one way or the other, I remember that story about two sons, and their dad was an alcoholic. One son grew up to be teetotaler, doesn't drink, so forth, hardworking, successful. The other one, raging alcoholic, in trouble with the law all the time.
Right.
And they asked both of them what happened, and the answer for both was, I saw my father.
Right. Yeah.
It's
that
profound.
works sometimes, but I must tell you, in my experience, so my dad was a chain smoker, right? And I hated it. By the time I'm 21, I'm smoking 1 pack a night. What did I say? I hated it.
Yeah.
But there's a pattern that can be set up in the family, and you repeat what the previous
Without
generation
even
did.
knowing.
No,
Without you don't even see it.
Yeah.
It just happens.
It just happens.
It just happens.
So, some things are more caught than taught.
Yeah.
So what we do, even if we are not saying, even if we are saying do the opposite, they are doing what they see you do.
But children, you see, and I find that we worry so much about our children listening, or not listening what we tell them, and we don't notice that they notice everything that we do.
They notice everything.
So, and that's one positive change I think came out of my son being born. That I became very conscious of the things I did. A lot of them. I'm conscious of some of the things I do. I say, you know what? I can't tell him do X and me I do Y. So I try my very best. You understand? Like a couple taxi man don't get cussed out because I'm picking out the car. I'm like,
You have to hold it.
hold it, breathe. And just how you, because even just how you interact.
But that's an important characteristic of a good father
True.
that not everybody understands how to do. That self-control,
Yes.
that ability
Yes.
is important
Yeah.
for nurturing children.
Because how if my picnic going up cuss, me I go tell him say, you know, example right there. Yeah. And fathers a lot of times don't realize that you're your child's first hero. Exactly. With your son, you tell him how to be a man. With your daughter, you're telling her what to expect. Yes. From a man. Yes. Oh, man. You understand? And I'm looking on to that journey. But by the way, daughter is, you know. Yeah. So well, I mean, based on your Instagram, he better know say prepare her green peas properly. I love seeing that with you when you interact with her. Like all messy and feeding her everything. I love seeing that. Did you read any books on could you find any material? I shouldn't say books on fatherhood for and anything that guide? How did you learn to be a father? It's an underjob. Yeah, it's an underjob
thing, you know. It's on the job. Mm-hmm. You make your mistakes. Mm-hmm. You lick your wounds. Mm-hmm. You apologize if you need to, and you move on. And you just attempt to just do your best. Be the best example. Mm-hmm. You know, fathers, a lot of fathers are responsible for discipline. Mm-hmm. And by discipline, I'm not necessarily talking about flogging. I'm just talking about creating that environment to raise a disciplined child. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
wait till your father comes.
and just helping them to understand that life has boundaries and rules to it. As a father, when you see it later on manifesting in their lives and the discipline and how it helps to advance them, you realize, wow, it was worth it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, on the job training.
Yeah, on the job training for sure. I mean, for me, I'm in a very unique situation. As I said, you know, my job is very demanding, and I'm hoping that it will get a little easier as I progress.
Consultant.
So whenever that time comes, God's willing, you know, I'm really hoping that it gets there. But for right now, working as a doctor, it's very difficult and time.
I can only imagine.
We have to grab the time.
I know, yes. But I'm saying that to say, you know, I would really love to spend a lot more time and even be able to read a lot more of the books that you're talking about, just to even learn how to, you know, be a great father, because it's an on-the-job thing. You know, you make your mistakes, as you said, and you learn from them, and you learn from also the reactions of your children as well. And that's also where a good partner comes in, you know. God bless my wife. She's really doing a marvelous job. And, you know, as I said, there's always that role for mothers. But yes, fathers, they also have a very key role to play as well.
Because, I mean, you're learning on the job. And you know what for me, I did was like, you see the areas where my father, when I look back at how he did it, because my father's from an era where a man didn't show affection. Man, the jobs that you go out, you work, bring it in, you take care. If you ask my father, I promise if him love him big, them have a roof, right? And them got school done. And them eat done. That's him. That's his love. My father has said to me twice in life, I'm proud of you. Twice. Remember. Because it was so significant that it happened. And for me, as an adult, I was looking back myself, that's someone would I want to hear, though, growing up. You know, I mean, this and that, I'm going to do this. You know, I just win reading competition. So my son supposed to tired of hearing it. You know, and what I did was like, the things that I think I would have loved my father to do. Mark you, I think he's a good father. He did as good as he could and with what he knew, right? I implement them. And the things I didn't like so much, I try and make sure I don't do them. You know, for instance, I don't hit my child. I don't hit my child. Remember my beating them? You understand? Jamaicans have a way of saying, you know, don't spare the rod and spoil the child and all. But and love to say, hey, you know, we get beaten, but you know, we turn out all right. We're like, did you really? And you know, and you get beaten, and despite being beaten, you maybe turn out all right. So for me, corporal punishment is not something that I have in the repertoire that we use. And so for I hope I'd never have to get to the point where I think that I need to. But at the same time, you still have to find ways to discipline your picnic. And so it's a new age. For me, I'm too smart sometimes.
So you're still learning how to do it.
I'm still learning how to do it. How do I don't want to be yelling at my child because my fees say what you said to your kids is the soundtrack that them travel around with in them head. You know, that's the soundtrack. So you cuss big and everything. That's what them having at them head growing up. It's this little script in the back of them head. And my biggest challenge was to try and not curtail his spirit. You know, I used to get
that's a big balance, you know. Depends. That's a difficult balance, man. Especially if you have a strong-willed child.
Oh, listen, Jesus.
Like,
and mother, get that from here. No.
That's a challenge. How do you parent in such a way that you don't crush their spirit, but at the same time you create those boundaries? You create those boundaries. Sometimes that's a little difficult.
Yeah, it is. You know, I don't want. And what I try to do is how I react to things him do. Like, he goes into the fridge, take out juice for him. No, him supposed to ask about. I don't have a problem. Picnic for eat food. But then you end up spilling all of this because you think, that's it. I have allowed him so much independence. Well, both of us have allowed him this independence. You started this. Just allow him to do things.
Yeah.
So he has this independent spirit now. But when that independent spirit gets him in that trouble where or get him to do something like him, go try and pour a cup of juice and spill the whole lot. How to react to make him know, say, hey, you don't do this.
Right.
But at the same time, you don't want him to get so fearful that him start not want to do it. It's a balance.
Well, the challenge
it's a balance.
As fathers is that sort of their personality gets formed at about 8. So you have between 0 and 8.
Forget it. Yeah, man.
After that, you can do it, you know, but it just becomes more difficult. It's nice when they just have that, when they get mellow by the time they reach 8.
Okay. So, Philip,
I have
I have 6 years
or so.
Until I have 4.
Yeah.
And because, and you know,
what do you do when your child is throwing a tantrum?
It depends. There are times when I get the strict voice, but what I've found works more with him now is me actually being very calm and just asking him. And this is something I actually learned from his mother. What is the issue? What is wrong? They pick up tension. So I remember I picked him up at school and I was bringing him and he was crying. No reason. Me like, we can't ball for. And my initial thing was like, yo, your tablet there, where you ball for? And I was like, calm down. What is the problem? What is happening right now? Come, hug him up. Hug him. Yeah, man. Hug him and just say, calm down a little bit. What is happening? What is wrong? I'm still not sure what he said, but calm him down. I'm like, talk to me. Tell me what is happening. And you know what? I feel like sometimes and I've seen it, where we don't ask enough of our children. Like we think that, them too little for understand. So he might not fully understand how to articulate what was happening, but him know that he's concerned and that he's calm. Maybe it's not so bad. Them can pick up the vibration. So what I try to do is, even when like, hold on, that cursing and that cussing about it is something you pick up and you care from your parent. You are parenting differently. You know? Hold it. And I try not to visit like my annoyance of anything else with the situation. You know, because I don't want a child that's shy for come talk to me about anything at all. Suppose can come tell me, there should be no sneaking out of no car when I'm a teen. I'm supposed to can feel it and say, more and go so and so. And we can say, well, that don't make sense. You know? Things like that. But I don't know, man. I wish there was a handbook. I wish there was
none. And let me tell you something. Even when you read it, it's situational.
Yes.
Because it's not coming like how it was in the book, right? The case is coming in a very different way, and you have to think on your feet and answer that on your feet. So it's an exciting journey.
It is because I think if you do parenting correctly, both sides, it was as much a learning experience for you as for them. And one of the things that I have learned from my child is enjoy everything. We knelt down one day playing with a green caterpillar. Like, long time. Just fascinated, because he was so fascinated with the caterpillar. And I think we grow up so much that sometimes we become jaded. We don't see the little wonders in life. And I didn't know how for 15 minutes playing with a caterpillar grabbed my attention. And I actually enjoyed it because it's new to him. And for me, you walk past it every day. And I think if we allow ourselves to learn from our children, even some of the things that we grow up sometimes and we're afraid to say no to things that we don't want. Pick me, I tell you point blank, I don't. Try give Riley some green peas, what she don't want, and say, box it off. We have to learn from them. So we learn to say no to things what we don't want. And we learn to, a child will tell you exactly what they want. And you have to learn to actually ask what you want. I think just observe with picking more time and picking them, they actually teach us just to be better about life. And that is what I try to just watch him. And watch how him bold about what he wants. And watch how he's not afraid. Daddy, I want juice. You just had some juice. Yeah, but more, some more now. We're afraid you want a raise. We're afraid we go to a boss and say, yo, I have been working. I want a raise. Or, yo, you can't work overtime. No. Judah, do your homework. No, I don't feel like doing it right now. And that's a balance, because you have to get it. But you must tell him point blank. You have to negotiate with him. You must tell him, don't
negotiate.
You have to.
Tell me something. What about? No, man. Hold on, man. Remember, you know, life has some different sides to it.
Yeah.
Some sides don't have any negotiation. And our role is to help them to understand that. I'm not talking about abuse, I'm not talking about anything like that.
Some things you have to do.
You have to know. Because one day they need to do the adulting thing. So you have to help them to understand what that means. That is my role.
Yeah, man.
You know,
what it means.
There was a season where, you know, when them reaching the teenagers, it can be rough.
Rebellion.
And there's a season when I'm your dad, not necessarily your friend.
Yeah.
You know.
And it is, the statement was not, I don't want to be a friend, you know. But the statement is that I have to carry you through this so that when you are employed or even when you have your own business, that you have a discipline, that you can approach life in a constructive way. That you are eventually, when you have a family, that you can have that sense of responsibility and care and focus. You know? Right. So sometimes negotiation, but the truth is sometimes, man.
Yeah, and that
this is the way walking
I want to ask a question.
Yes.
So what would you guys say, you know, to new fathers that, or something that you never really expected becoming a father, to those who are now going to be new fathers come, you know, this year and so on? Is there something that you can think about off the top of your head, just that when you became a father, or just the experience, the journey that you never really expected? And you guys are talking about just the different scenarios that you had to go through in terms of just negotiating a while ago, or you're even talking about just how you had to discipline. You know, like, there's going to be new fathers every year. And sometimes maybe this is the opportunity for them to really get to understand some of the things that we never knew.
What did I not?
You know, because I'm also a new father. So I'm here listening to you guys as well.
You know what surprised me? actually is how quickly they grow and change.
Yeah.
It is like
no joke.
all right. Judah made his first step he was born January 2019. Made his first unassisted step in February 2020. And it was I remember we're out a longboarder and he got up and made about 3 or 4 steps and then dropped. Between then and March, I can't believe. It's like, between, you just made 4 unassisted steps. And a March, yo, come pick me, slow down. I'm like, it was one of the biggest surprises for me, how quickly they change. How quickly, he's 4 years old. He's 4 years old and he spoke late. Because, in terms of much
COVID.
talking. Yeah, because of the whole COVID thing and so forth. But no, my ears can't get no peace. And you'd be surprised at how much they learn and how much they absorb.
Yeah.
So people might think, the first 2 years, no. Be very cognizant of everything you do from the moment they're born, because you will see things. As you say, she mimics you in some stuff.
Yep.
Some things
She
you do.
definitely does.
And you just have to look at it. I was like, that are one thing. How quickly they pick things up, how quickly they grow. Quickly they move from 1 day old to 1 year old to 2 years. Like, whoa, rapidly.
One of the things I think, as you meant, sometimes that we lack is a community of people that have been good fathers, so that we can follow that example.
Yes.
When you look at women and children, women sort of just gravitate to it, and women sort of instinctively teach other women what to do. We're not like that.
Yeah.
So one of the things sometimes that we have to do as young fathers is start to go around older persons who have been through the journey. And develop that community, that sense of camaraderie, that he can pass on something to you that you might not have had yourself. Because maybe you never know your father, But there's always a second chance for another man to father you through his experience, so that you can father your child. So one of the things I think I worry about is that sometimes we have not known how to draw from experience. Nowadays, like when you're young, you feel like you know everything as a youth. You understand, man, me don't need nobody, because wrong in a wrong way, right? you can't just start to go around some people who have just been that journey before, because you can learn from your own mistakes, or you can learn from somebody else's
So you say having a teachable spirit.
Yeah, man, having a teachable spirit, and just finding that mentor. Even if it's not one person, just a set of persons that you can go and glean some wisdom from.
One example, because I'm very interested in politics.
Right.
And I actually voiced that, I want to get more involved and all. And the person I said it to, MP and everything, see him said, nah. Says, I've seen you how with your son, See how. Says, one of my biggest mistakes was getting so deeply involved when my children were so young. You don't look like you cut for do that. So wait until, if you're going to do it, wait until let him reach at least 10, 11, 12. And I took it very serious, because this is a man who, by all indicate, very successful and everything, good enough father. And he's still saying, big regret that he was so active politically and all part of that.
That's big advice.
When he picked me, and I took it serious to the point where I'm like, step back. If I'm going to do anything like that, it will be later on and all, and so forth. And he just said it, because I didn't even ask him about family. I was just asking him about politics and so forth. And he brought that up and said, don't. Step back. If you really know about my experience, having done it, is I wished I had not at that point. And I took it as if this man is pretty good father, pretty good, successful man in life, I'll tell you, say,
says that,
step back.
That's
Then,
serious.
I mean, if I get to tell you, say, down river bottom of Rockstone, believe him. Believe him. So I did and all. And there's a very, very good point in terms of learning from each other. I was thankful, very thankful for the circle of friends that I have. The ones who are on the podcast, Jamaican Dads with me, and a few other extended ones where luckily they will give you the advice unsolicited. That's one good thing in life, but they might tell you. Them never not gonna ask you. They might show and throw it in and so forth. Member for and all. They're not gonna even wait. But as you say, women tend to do that more. You will see, you will observe, and you will see a young mother have a child, a baby walking with, and a random older lady will say, no, move your hand up, put it behind the bed and so forth. That don't happen with fathers a lot of times. Perhaps maybe because a lot of times our role isn't one like that, where it's readily seen what you're doing, you know, so perhaps that is it. Because our role might not be something where you readily see on the roadside like that and all. So that could be it. That could be it, you know. And I segue to say that it's something I love to see. I love to say man with them picnic, like them out the road. I see people father. It brings me a sort of joy. It's something I enjoyed seeing before becoming a father, but since then, I love to see it.
Yeah. You ever drive down like on Maxi, like 6 a.m. Sometimes it's some man, you know.
Yeah, with it, you to the wall. Yeah. I mean, like, where is this, like, this narrative about the absent father? I mean, like, you see
like,
it.
They just light.
Yeah, man.
It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, man, I love
it's a wonderful.
You know, you know what I talk about? Because something I'm in the air about this. Some parts of modern fathering. Because, I realize that men are a little bit more involved in the emotional side of, you know, raising your children and such. Because, you know, one time gone, it's almost like a mother's role, you know, and all. But it's Men's Health Month. And I want to talk about just like the mental space that men have to be in to be good fathers. Because I think sometimes some people take it too far, because at the end of the day, you still are the father. You still have to be, how do you be a strong figure, but at the same time, not the sort of strong. No, I mean, I'm all about stoicism, you know, but we do have a lot of men having issues, like with mental issues, and a lot of people will say it's because of the things that we keep in.
Yeah.
I mean, how do we raise our children to, especially with boy picking them, to be able to don't carry so much of a burden, but at the same time still be a strong man? You know, it almost, because you hear the statement, man up. And I still believe in that manner. I still believe that as a man, some things you just have to deal with. Like some things your family probably don't even have to know say you deal with, because that's your role. But how do you do that? Not at the expense of like.
But I don't think dealing with it means that you cannot express your emotions. And I'm talking about, let me not do the,
you're not seeing about it, no.
Yeah. I'm not talking about it. 'Cause that's where you start to go in your brain.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about just expressing how you feel, being able to be vulnerable in that way without that meaning that you have lost control. Because what happens is, the suggestion, and Doc is here, the suggestion is that men keep in a lot. And those things that are kept in have a physiological effect.
Yeah.
You understand? We need to speak it out. It affects mental issues, right? We need to talk about our emotion without it meaning that we are weak or soft.
Yeah, I mean, because like my father has dealt with some things over his life. I've seen, you know, his brother was my uncle, literally. It wasted away at our house because he had cancer, and his brother him close to, you know. other family members passing on. But I think the closest that man ever come to cry is when West Indies will lose a close match. That are it. Him no ball about nothing else. You know? And he's never. And that for me, where that is, you see, I don't want to have a son that don't feel like it's okay for say, yo, you know,
I'm hurting.
Yeah.
That pains
and things
me.
like that. Yeah. And
I'm happy. Yeah.
It is weird, especially as a man. The things and as much as teaching boundaries and not killing your spirit and trying to balance things, it's what you teach them about how to handle emotions. You know, as a
How to handle problems.
How to handle
How
problems.
to handle grief. How to handle loss.
Yeah.
It's something that you have to teach them.
Yeah.
If you don't, then we're to make it up for themselves.
And that's it. But on a whole, like I say, you know what?
Yeah.
It has been any final words to pass on to?
I must say that I'm happy that I was able to join you guys in this talk, because I mean I've also learned quite a bit from you both.
Yeah.
So, you know, as I said, you know, being a father is something that we still need to pay attention to and hold in high esteem. And just really encourage everybody on Father's Day to, you know, big up the fathers.
Yeah.
And to encourage them.
Please stop big up the mother them. I am sorry. You know what? Say what you're saying, because me really irks me to
Hey,
no
we
stroke.
just have big up the father them.
Yeah, man. It irks
know?
my soul.
Happy Father's Day.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. Some of you get A because you are great fathers. Some of us going to get A because we try hard. But just do your best, and that is good enough.
Well said.
Happy Father's Day once again. And if I come on social media and say, anyhow, I say, big up my mother who fathered me, may I come write boo under your post. Stop it. You're not going to see anybody on Mother's Day. You did not see it. Anybody on Mother's Day come and say, big up my father who mothered me. And guess what? You know, part of the reason we have this narrative about absentee fathers is because you see when man take up the responsibility, because women cut too, you know. Women run out too, you know. When women run out and leave the picnic with the man them alone, the man not crying about it and going around and woe is me, I'm a single dad. You know what? Where a man is with responsibility, we stand up, we do it.
Yes.
We're not going ball about it. Do not let me see anyone come. Find the people them good Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or anything. High five if it still exists. And say, big up my mother who fathered me. Your mother raised you. She did not father you. Go and have the problem with the person. And in fact, at the same time, interrogate what your mother tell you. Because enough time is the mother's push where and a man can only take so much. Big up the father, them where I do, them I do. And yeah, one can come for me. I do not care. My back broad. My father taught me that. Come.
All right, sir.
Big up Delroy Campbell. Anyway, I'm there. Have a happy Father's Day, everybody. And until next year, keep being great fathers. And next year, we'll do it again.